And welcome in game number one of our leadoff best of three. TongFu taking on CDEC. And yeah, really interesting draft, really fun draft already. Love to see an early Rubik pick up, and TongFu shows us him in the first two. And on the side of CDEC, going to be Skywrath Mage and the Naga Siren. Welcome in once again, Tralf, to bring you the insight and analysis. But I mean, both of these teams intrigue me in two different ways, Tralf. CDEC, again, getting a win over one of the best teams in the entire tournament. Certainly there's it's worth noting we've seen them play very well in certain spots. With TongFu, I think you really just summed it up perfectly. A lot of individual talent, but in terms of making it work, getting it to gel, we haven't quite seen that. But this is a season where TongFu is going to have a lot of matches, a lot of chances to get those wins, to find that rhythm. And I think it's going to be fun to watch them over the remainder of the Eastern Division.
Sure, and even if they don't perform at the top of their game throughout this season, like this is the practice and this is the experience that they need. Whereas CDEC is already ahead of them in that sense with playing at recent tournaments in China. I don't remember off the top of my head whether it was I-League, WCA, and WCEC because they always like blend into me. But I know they've performed in at least two of those, and that's where they've gotten their experience. And as we saw last night, it's been very fortuitous. So yeah, TongFu definitely going to learn a lot from this, and not to count them out by any means because they're only 0-2. It's not the end of the world, like I said, but yeah, definitely need some more time with this lineup.
Well, there's going to be a Clockwork coming out in the third pick position for TongFu. I really like a Clockwork in particular against heroes like Skywrath Mage. He's just such an easy target. Usually you can bring him down very, very quickly, but you have to be very careful that when you get on top of him, you do focus him down. Naga Siren, equally a hero that if, she just can be tough to track down sometimes. If you can manage to get on top of her, maybe you can, I honestly am not sure, but the battery assault. I know that there's a slight cast point on Naga Siren's song. If you manage to hit her with the hook, follow with immediate cogs and battery assault, is it enough to completely prevent her from songing?
I mean, it can work. It's nothing too reliable. It's kind of like a freak incident if it happens, but it certainly can. Naga's one of those heroes that's kind of difficult to actually catch out unless you have really, really high movement speed and maneuverability. That's why Batrider, I think, is so good against Naga, but Batrider is actually banned out conveniently by CDEC themselves. So Clockwork definitely can work, but it does get a little bit annoying if the illusions are not already popped. You can just pop them, and then the damage just gets spread.
10 seconds remaining.
Bristleback, the follow-up with the Clockwork. Love to see a Bristleback pick, and we've actually seen Bristleback getting a lot of attention here in the Eastern scene in comparison to pretty much any other geographic region. But we talk about the Tusk. Tusk with Naga Siren, that's actually a combination that my friends and I had talked about running before because the speed of the snowball improves. And you can, if I'm not mistaken, you can hustle the illusions inside of it. You can actually get a very, very fast snowball to chase people down to initiate with and so on and so forth. And then you also have Riptide as soon as you connect and the Ensnare that'll generally allow you to just trap people in along with the Ice Shards. So it's a very deadly combination right out the gate.
Yeah, you can eat up the illusions in the snowball, but I don't think it adds to the movement speed or damage you get normally from heroes. But it does join them, or they do join the Tuskar on the snowball. So yeah, I love Tuskar. He's one of my favorite supports to watch. I say support just because that's how I think he is best utilized. Timbersaw picked up. That's another hero that's been very, very popular in the Chinese scene, specifically when we saw Vici Gaming run it with Ice 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 to great effect. A couple of the players that can't come into my mind right off the bat, but very effective here. It's really been since the Aghanims change is what I think has boosted his popularity once again with the double chakram.
Yeah. The Enigma picked up last by TongFu, and I'm just trying to look across the board. One reason I dig the Timbersaw as much as anything is just how well he deals with the Bristleback. The fact that Whirling Death is stat reduction and the Bristleback really is susceptible to that. Not to mention he wants to either chase or to kite. He doesn't want to usually be a static target in anyone who wants to stand up and fight with him. Now you have to cope with Chakram. Now you have to cope with Whirling Death. It is going to make him feel a lot more squishy much more quickly. And the Enigma pickup, this feels like a bit of a greedy lineup to me from TongFu. I mean, they're going to be able to fight fairly quickly, but Now with the Queen of Pain, I was just thinking, like, with the Timbersaw, the Naga, Skywrath, Tusk, those are the 3 of the 4 are very aggressive. Now you have a super aggressive mid in Queen of Pain. I think CDEC's just going to try to put the screws to TongFu before they can really just have a chance to sit back and farm.
Interesting Queen of Pain pickup here. I guess it's going to go solo against the Viper. TongFu's lineup is somewhat greedy, but I think they still can fight early. Like, Enigma farm is very fast. It's not a hero that you can really like shut down in the jungle. You can be an annoyance to him if you really want to ward up all the camps, but he can move around quite easily. He can do ancients if he absolutely needs to. It's not the most effective thing, especially when they moved him, but he can move around. He can even dual lane bottom, as we've seen. That's a popular alternative to jungling. So
I'm going to have to reconnect.
Every time.
Every hero is literally frozen and moving super small. So you can go ahead and break down the lanes, and I'm going to go ahead and actually, for the benefit of our viewers, I'm going to pop this plate back up for you. This is the deal going on, working in conjunction with HyperX. You can head to kingston.com/D2LS5 and find a way to get an awesome deal. Yeah, it is $30 knocked off of the price for that headset. Love that headset so much. So listen to Trouf while he does his radio impression. You do that, and I'm going to reconnect to the server.
Well, we're going to see an engagement here really early on. Rubik, he is way too far up. He actually gets the lift, but there's the ice shards. It doesn't block out Rubik, actually, as it blocks out the Enigma. That's the change coming into play here. A missed Timbersaw chain. What a terrible engagement there from CDEC, and it comes down to the change from the Tuskar. The ice shards were completely off the mark from Rubik as he actually shot him past Rubik, and it didn't trap him. It trapped the Enigma instead behind. Not to mention the Timbersaw, who leveled up his second spell there, which was completely off the mark. Now he has to go to lane with the Timber Chain. So a big missed opportunity from CDEC. It should have been an easy first blood.
I didn't see it, obviously, as I was reconnecting, but let me guess, he just used the shards like they would have functioned before, clicked on the hero or whatever, and they shot way past.
Right. Yeah. I mean, before it was kind of lenient where you could just click it like in the whole area.
Yeah.
But he clicked it. His mouse cursor must have been too far, and it went over the Rubik, and Rubik just kind of walked away. So, yeah, big missed opportunity there.
All right, we're rejoining now. So sounds like you guys didn't miss much. That's like the third time that's happened. It's like super quiet, no deaths for 6 minutes whenever everything's fine. But as soon as I have to reconnect to a perfect world server,
Murphy's Law, man.
That's exactly what it is. But I should be in here in just a moment, and hopefully, yeah, this looks okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It just like the second time I connect seems to be very often much better. But we are back into the action. 0-0. Missed a bad exchange. But let's talk about the lanes a little bit and how they've taken shape. It's Zhao Love on the Bristleback up at top. It's Kabu on the support Rubik, helping him out. LPC is going to be jungling up the Enigma, while U9 is on that Viper here in mid, going head-to-head against Maybe, and I especially want to talk about that matchup here in a minute. TongFu, though, has red out in the offlane on that Clockwork. CDEC, though, they've got their Naga Siren. They, of course, got Q playing on our Skywrath Mage. It's going to be Garter playing on the support Tuskar. We'll keep an eye on him throughout the match, as mentioned. Maybe on the Queen of Pain, setting up shop in mid. And 3-3-3. I'm pretty sure it's HHH, actually, on the Timbersaw, taking a fair amount of damage. And he trying to stay... Oh, he's going to be lifted, actually. And just letting them know they mean business. So, while the rest of the lanes look like they could be relatively quiet, talk to me about this matchup mid, Queen of Pain and Viper.
Well, it's somewhat even, but I'd say that Viper is just really good against Queen of Pain because normally you want to get 2 points into your Shadow Strike early on, but it actually does like almost more damage to yourself than you're doing to the Viper if he does max out. Well, not even max out, but just gets more points in the Corrosive Skin. I imagine because the Queen of Pain is showing that she did get Shadow Strike, I imagine that we're going to see another point into the Corrosive Skin. So I do favor the Viper just a little bit.
Currently, the matchup is 7 CS for the Queen of Pain, 9 for the Viper. So more or less a wash, at least for the moment. There's going to be cogs down from red, as it looked like he was being pursued out by the Naga, but unable to catch up with him. The Clock's doing pretty well, though. He's level 2.5. Timber in the exact same boat. In fact, he's doing even better. He's coming up on level 3 at this stage of the game. So, and this is just what makes the Timber so annoyingly difficult. Clockwork's good at keeping himself alive in lane, but I don't know if there's anyone in terms of just tanky, walk on up and try to last hit and not worry about dying offlaners than the Timbersaw. But we're going to have a gank attempt on mid. Here we go. The Tusk is level 2. He's going to have Snowball and Shards going right for it. Onto the Viper. Got him. Let's see if he gets the Shards right this time. Yes, he does. On the mark, Queen of Pain blinks in, and there's your first blood. Maybe is the one that gets it as well. So good rotation from these two. And the Naga Siren left alone for a little bit, so she's doing well, but maybe getting the first blood there.
Yep, nice initiate from the Snowball. Easy peasy for them. It's pretty easy to do it, too, on the Viper that has relatively slow movement speed. It's only 335 with boots, so he ain't getting anywhere once you get that initiation. So nicely played there by CDEC.
Here's an early smoke picked up by LPC, and he has his Soul Ring as well. You think this is a game where, since he's on Dyer's side, he might try to sneak a solo Roche?
I don't think he's farming fast enough to do it, actually. He would need help. He would, first of all, like, obviously need a medallion, but he would definitely need help to do that, as Timbersaw taking a little bit of damage, but he will be fine. Yeah, and they did block out one of his camps, but that's not really enough to shut down an Enigma. Like, I think if you're going to... I've always been in the boat where it's, if you're going to shut down some of the camps of Enigma, why not shut down them all and then just follow him and make him completely useless? Like, this one ward thing is like, it seems kind of half-assed to me, but
yeah,
it's just my opinion. Because, like, I mean, he's still going to farm very well. He's still level 4 in 4 minutes.
Red being cutesy with his haste rune. Interrupting Q. Here comes the Naga Siren. Got to be careful, and he will make his escape in a very timely manner. Didn't get ensnared. And up at top, we have a little bit of action. LPC has made his way over. That was the Tusk coming into lane along with the Timbersaw. A little bit of trading in the paint, but no one drops as of right now. And I think TongFu, if they can play aggressively with this lineup, I think they're going to be in really good shape so long as they at least break even, because I do feel like it is a little bit greedy. And if they can just take towers, just get up some core items on these heroes, particular the Enigma and the Bristleback, I really think they're... Yep. Going out on LPC. Here comes the TP. That's going to be maybe. Jumps in, gets a 3-man scream. LPC's in trouble. And there's the lift. He threw him right back on top of the Enigma, who's going to end up dying. Kabu's very low. Let's see if the Timber can catch him. Timber chain up right now if he wants to take the chance. Not going to do so. Instead, just going to back on off. They have tons of dive potential here if they want to. And Kabu, oh yeah, we're just going to see maybe walk right up and scream and right-click him down for another kill. Jalov, a little bit of a different case on the Bristleback. So 3-0 though, CDEC, and this is what I was talking about earlier and what I was worried of it could happen. TongFu, again, they just don't have a team that's going to be able to fight right now, and CDEC has so much early aggressive potential.
I think it's just better played by CDEC, honestly. I think TongFu is doing all the right things, but like Kuapa's getting pretty much owned in mid. Like, her CS was really, really bad compared to the Viper as the levels were coming up, despite ganking the Viper. That's just the better matchup, as I expected. But nice rotation from Maybe. Like, you don't see normally a Quap rotate before he's level 6. Or she's level 6, I should say. And it deemed to be very effective. Got 2 kills out of it. So despite losing mid lane, is able to make things happen elsewhere. And in the meantime, it's freeing up space for the Naga, too. And her CS is... she's basically free farming, and it's just perfect for them.
Double damage picked up by the Quap. Let's see if they want to do something with it as the Tusk is heading in that direction. There is no dire ward. And, oh, wow. This could be very... oh, this is terrible. LPC spotted out. That's a DD. Jumps, hits him with the Shadow Strike, has the ulti if he needs it. Not even going to spend it. Just going to right-click him down, maybe takes yet another kill, and still has the ulti but no mana. The bottle's empty. But still going to be able to walk up and put a scare on Jalov and Kabu. As they're under the tower and they've got a wave. Yeah, he's going to go for it. But, yeah, like you said, no mana. Garter in trouble. Wrong place, wrong time. He's going to go ahead and snowball, but this is going to do nothing but delay the inevitables, maybe. Actually took a CS there to on his way out, but, yeah, I'm pretty sure Garter's going to end up dead.
He looks okay. He used the sigil right there. What he can do right now if he wants to is just put the ice shards, like, click right in front of him. LP's fine.
Wow.
But if he needed to, that's actually one of those cool changes to ice shards that does help, is that if you wanted to block people, Sigil's amazing, and he's maxing it out. But you can use the ice shards a little bit more effectively now to do some quirky things. And bottom lane, they're pinging out Clockwork. He did get hit with a concussive shot, but he will be fine for the moment. So yeah, that Sigil really coming into play right there.
And it's so easy to forget just how much utility it has. I mean, we talk about it every time we see a Tusk picked up. It goes through Magic Community. It's super strong against pretty much any melee. It's super strong against everyone, but in particular against melee heroes who have to try to close distance quickly and want their attack speed.
Right.
But yeah, like just right there is a perfect example. I mean, it just saved his life. And he was as dead as it gets. He got picked up and lifted right here.
With was like thrown like ulti on him, yeah.
Yeah, and he still got away.
There are those arrows again, man. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
He clicked
Two
on it.
circles. It was a pair of spectacles, all right? I see on the mini-map it has a bit of a different look to it, though.
And he clicked on a creep that to target the snowball, and the creep died. And I don't think they knew where the snowball was going. If you saw, they thought it was going to go on one of their heroes, but they were kind of a little bit confused.
Well, if there's one issue that TongFu has to worry about even more than the deaths they've given up, it's that this entire time, as you had mentioned, Naga by herself against the Clockwork. Clock's getting some nice solo XP. He's almost level 6, but this Naga is now level 7.5, almost level 8, and has, she just spent some gold actually, but had about 2k towards her relic if that's the way she wants to go, and one would imagine it will be. There's Arc Boots done now on the Timber as well, so he's done well in the off lane. What adjustments do you make if you're TongFu? This is already beginning to feel like they need to, I don't want to say be desperate, but they desperately need some kind of little stop to what CDEC's building up to.
Well, they need to get some kind of core items on somebody. Like, nobody has anything big right now. The mech is coming out for Enigma, so it's not going to come out on the Viper. I would say, try to play around this Clockwork. Like, he's going to hit level 6 here pretty soon, and I would go to his lane and find the Naga, because she's probably not going to be fighting with her team right now. She's just going to be sitting in the jungle, coming back bottom when it seems safe. If you smoke anchor and waste I can't really say waste, but utilize a solo black hole on her, I think that's worth it.
A lot of movement from these supports of CDEC. Thought they were going to turn northward, and that hero's going to be in trouble, but now cutting towards mid. Viper hiding in the trees. They're just going to walk right up to him. There's the immediate TP. Shards are off the mark again. Maybe he's going to walk right in, gets a scream off. That's Red, though. Catches him with the cogs, but he is able to blink out. And now there's going to be the snowball buying him some time. However, the troops have arrived, and finally, TongFu able to get a stop. And looks like Zhao Love had somebody else hemmed up. That was the Skywrath Mage, and he had the TP out as well. And that's what I'm talking about. That's a minor win, but they just need to get something, some kind of momentum going.
Yeah, the problem still stands that this Naga's totally free farming. I think she needs to be addressed now. I don't think they can contest her in the late game. I think she's going to spread them out way too hard. I would say maybe the Clockwork can in the mid game, but he's pretty underfarmed.
Oh, maybe just walks right into a black hole. A TP completes into one as well, and maybe able to make it away. However, the counter initiation is there. TongFu's on the run. They already got the Enigma. And Red doing what he can to help pick up the Skywrath behind with the cogs. They're all so low, though. Do they have the damage? Yes, there's that big sonic wave. 2, 3 for 1. And now the Naga there with the song to secure a 4th. So TongFu, that was such a ballsy decision from CDEC. As they completed a TP, there's an Enigma standing right there, maybe literally walked right up, didn't even attack, got black holed, and then the TP completed inside of it. But the damage wasn't there to follow it up, and even though they lost one, they just completely run over them with AoE afterwards.
Yep, they need to... They needed to get more in their black hole if they're just going to go walk up right to a tier 1. Like that... Single-man black holes are fine in isolated spots when you know people aren't going to respond, but like, that's the central part of the map. Everyone was going to TP there. You had to expect that coming. At the very least, had Clockwork go in first or something like that. Also, I have to comment that I feel like Tuskar looks so much like Timbersaw this game. I don't know if... I keep looking at Tuskar and I'm like, oh, it's Timbersaw. Wait, no, it's not. Just I don't know what it is about the models right now with like some cosmetics.
It's the way they walk, I think. Like the way Timbersaw moves his arms, and then, or like, yeah, the way the arms move on Timbersaw when he walks and the way Tusk moves.
Yeah, that's got to be it. I don't know. I keep confusing them.
Up at top, wow. Red picked off, got the cogs down, but ate a big Mystic Flare right in the mouth. And let's see if they can track down. Nah, they're not even going to try on the Zhao Love. And that's kind of what I was talking about. Like, if you're going to engage, you're great to get on top of the Skywrath, but there better be a follow. Otherwise, he's just going to be happy to have you standing still in front of him.
Yep, and it looks like he is going to go for a Vanguard here into the Crimson Guard, as he's still taking a lot of damage. A lot of damage, actually. One of the great things about Timbersaw is he's so effective against strength heroes because of that Whirling Death reducing the stats.
Yep.
So, yeah, he did a lot of damage right there. Wow, this Bristleback, he has no other regen. There is an Invis Kabu here. He has a sentry down.
Yep, just walked right into it. Kabu has to use lift to try to get himself to safety. He probably could have gone in there.
He had to earn. I think he might have been able to pursue, but he was scared of a possible rotation, which there is a Viper nearby. So
yeah. Vanguard done on Zhao Love. I think that's going. See, the thing is, I don't even know how much that's going to help him right now, because the biggest sources of damage that they have are either magical or pure in the form of Whirling Death. Like, I don't know that a Vanguard's even that good of a pickup.
I don't think so. Well, I mean, the Vanguard into inevitably the Crimson Guard. He's thinking Crimson Guard is going to be good against the illusions of Naga, but I agree, it's all magical damage, and even Naga is going to be magical damage because of the Radiance and the Riptide. It's all magical.
Shards off the mark, doesn't matter. Snowball's there to follow it up. Zhao Love brought down. Mystic Flare used to help LPCs right there. He's a big uppercut, and he's doing what damage he can, but that's not a whole lot. And this is what I meant when I said that their team felt greedy. Like, I just don't see where their damage is coming from. Like, they've got these slow burn style of damage dealers. You've got the Viper, of course, with the dots, and he can hit hard in some situations, but then you've got Warpath and such, the quip from the Bristleback. But there's no hero who's just going to walk up and be like, yeah, I'm going to punch you in the mouth and do a lot of damage, whereas just about everyone on CDEC has something to that effect.
I think, yeah, I also feel that like the Viper and the Bristleback fill the same exact role. Like,
yeah,
which is they want to just kind of sit up in the front. They go for similar item builds as well, like in the sense of just getting tanky and then just sitting there attacking stuff or diving in and like you want them to attack you. So they fulfill the kind of the same role. And the biggest thing too is that this Viper is just, he's got such low movement speed. Even with treads is 335. That's just dismal and bad. You can't really move around. The only one person that can move around is the Clockwork. But I mean, he was an offlane Clockwork that has, you know, decent farming experience. But I mean, he's offlane. He can only get so much. So,
speaking of getting a lot, Naga Siren 106 CS at 14 minutes in. It is kind of ridiculous how farmed he is. Already has a relic up and is very, very close to finishing the full Radiance. And yeah, look, this is what they can do to this team. They're going to force a reaction. Let's see if they want to reset. No, there's going to be a good hook. Caught Q, and Q's going to go and use the Mystic Flare. And this is the problem. Like, they're going to go 1 for 1 every single time he cogs in, and there's no follow-up. There's no stuns. They literally can't stun him out of it with these two heroes. So he just goes, yeah, it's fine. I'm dead, but so are you.
Yep, they needed a Rubik there or something. Or I agree, the damage just isn't there. They're really lacking a lot of damage. Enigma, I actually watched him in the jungle and he didn't farm that fast. I know he had one camp warded, but he did actually lose a lot of Eidolons when they came out. He actually had them killed several times, which drastically reduces the amount of time that you can farm. He's actually getting gone on here by the Timber Saw. Is he going to die here? The urn is applied. He should be dead.
It's going to be close.
He's okay.
I think he's got him.
Oh, no, he double earned him, I think. Oh, he's okay.
Nope, barely makes it away.
Very, very close. But yeah, he was like level 4 at level 6 or at minute 6, which is, I mean, normally Enigmas actually hold that thought as brown. There's a snowball up top.
Yep. He was actually pursued into the woods, was Zhao Love, and now he's going to try to snowball to safety. And here, kind of baiting it out, there's going to be the, oh, wow. They're just calling it.
Huh.
That doesn't shock me. Like, again, this is, you know, me not being an analyst and not being a pro player, I get a little gun shy sometimes with, you know, saying stuff because it seems like very often I say it and you're like, no, it's not the case. And that's okay. Like, I have no problem being wrong so long as the viewers get the information. But like during the draft, I'm just looking at it and it felt so greedy, especially in the face of how CDEC drafted, and the Queen of Pain was just the icing on the cake. And we have our shortest game in D2L Season 5 thus far, 16 minutes, 9 seconds, GG'd out by TongFu.
I'm still not, like, hating their lineup. I just think the biggest problem is I've seen so many teams in the Chinese scene right now in D2L where they just don't address a harder carry when they don't have a carry that can do anything against it later on. Like, the same thing would apply if that was a Spectre or a PA. Like, once they get their core items, what do you do? Like, they have no answer to it. So I think they needed to address the Naga, and since they didn't do that and they were trailing behind, they knew that there was no way that they could get back to the game.
I actually like that they call it so quickly. You and I always have this discussion. You know, this is a game that could have been drug out a little bit longer just because of how hard it is to high ground, especially against defensive heroes like a Clockwork, like an Enigma. This probably could have gone on until 35 minutes, really. Realistically, it really could have. And never would have TongFu really felt like they had a chance. So instead of just going through that mental anguish, they just call it.
Yeah.
And we move ahead to game number 2. Well, it was a short one. That's what she said. But we're looking. Hey, get the tish. Thanks for being a part of the broadcast, guys. Game number 2 will be coming up here in just a moment. Going to give the players the usual 5-minute break. During those 5 minutes, make sure you pop on over to kingston.com/D2LS5 and take a look at the amazing cloud headset. A phenomenal deal, 33% off. 1/3 knocked off the price of it just for the next 48 hours. Working in conjunction with the D2L, so much love to HyperX, and really hope you guys, especially if you're in the market for a new headset or maybe you got one but you want to go for that upgrade, you got to look at the cloud. I'm not kidding. It's couches for your ears. You're wearing one right now, Trout. Tell me, is it couches for your ears?
That's a good analogy. I like that. And I need to take a picture and tweet this.
There you go.
But yep, I'm actually wearing it right now as we speak.
So take the next 5 minutes. Make sure you pop over and see where you can procure your new headset from. And that's, again, kingston.com/D2LS5. We'll be right back. Game number 2, TongFu wants a different result this time. CDEC, though, they'd like to make it 2 in a row here in Eastern Divisional play. We'll be right back.